light. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Hot, hot, hot.
So here we are in the part 2 video of our cobblestone hot press builds. In the part 1 video we did phase 1, which was to pluck out all the erasers, and phase 2, which was to assemble all those pencils together. But in this video we're going to do phase 3, which is basically just to reinforce that whole mess of pencils, and then we'll be done. And we'll test this out in the testing the press. Here we go. Okay, so we have finished putting the pencils together, gluing them together, and we've got this big, giant, odd matrix of pencils. And now it is time to kind of reinforce it, like this workhorse right here. Reinforce it with the jumbo craft sticks and the duct tape. And before I do that, I just wanted to kind of re-emphasize one thing about this, and that is, as we press along the sheets and use this as a cobblestone hot press, we're going to want this thing to match up with itself as it goes along the sheet. And so I just wanted to take a moment to just kind of check my work, basically, and look at these rings and see if everything looks pretty good. And here I have a flat craft stick, and I'm just kind of like holding it up against it and basically just seeing if everything is nice and flush, and the 6s to 7s here on these are just everything's lining up pretty good, and there wasn't too much twist, too much play that made the matrix might wreak havoc when I'm trying to create a tileable pattern along foam. And this one's looking great, and I was actually I wanted to show it in front of a camera. I kind of already looked at it, and it came out actually better than my first one. And so there's just that factor I wanted to mention. That being said, I want to just jump right into putting our first support. We're going to put 4 of these around the perimeter, and it's just more support for the press itself. And we're finally using these wire cutters, which it's my go-to to cut wood, because of this. I just kind of squeeze it, and then it kind of cuts real nice. And I generally, that one went flying like literally 8 feet away from the table right here. But usually my method is to kind of crimp it, and just kind of, I squeeze a little, crimp it, and then just kind of wiggle it, and then it actually doesn't go flying. It's actually, I'm still holding it, and that way I don't have pieces of wood all over my room. And so that's why I use those. And so, I'm just basically eyeballing it and lining it up, and I'll do that with all 4 of these pieces. But there we go, that's a good length. And so we will glue this on right now. And basically, here's about the halfway mark right there. So just a little bit over. I'm just going to slather a lot of glue. There wasn't much glue in the stick. I probably should have put a big, new stick right in there. But I am putting a ton of hot glue on there right there. And there we go. Just kind of pressing that down onto there. And as I'm lining it up while it's still wet, I'm just keeping in mind I want to keep it past the halfway point. You know, if I'm picturing the burner being here, I just want to keep that hot glue away from the burner while still creating structure for the press itself. So again, you know, just eyeballing it, which is kind of the way I roll with these hot presses. If you've seen my stone block hot press video, I hope I'm not covering this too much with my hands there. And so there's one. I'm gonna punch through 3 more of these in berserker mode, and we'll go on to taping this thing up, and we'll move along. All right, and here we go. Okay, so it is down to the duct tape, and it is down to the pointy pliers, and we're gonna work with the duct tape right now, and we're gonna put this right around. I'm just gonna keep it at table level for a second. We're gonna put this right around this matrix, and I am pulling really tightly right now. I've already put the craft sticks on, so the 4 corner pieces, they're pretty protected, which this would you know, yanking the duct tape on super tight would kind of stress those pieces, and you could really just keep going around, you know, as much as you want. I think I'm gonna go around like about twice or something like that, and I'm pretty happy with that. So that's on there real nice. And so there we go. So we got one of the duct tape on. We'll put the other one on real quick here, and then we're gonna go on to just basically adjusting all the faces to make them look like cobblestone. Okay, so it is time to address these nice, perfect, rounded eraser brackets, and we want to turn them more into like a cobblestone look. And we're going to be using these pliers to do that. And at this point, I would normally, my go-to is to go to Google and type in, let's say for example, this one, it would be rounded cobblestone, and then hit images. So right here, you know, I would you know, type in the thing, and you know, go up to images there. And then it would give me just many ideas, many, you know, looks of cobblestone, and then I'd pick the ones that would be a good influence for me, and then kind of just use that to guide me when I'm shaping the cobblestone, you know, press. And so basically I just wanted to bring this up. And one last thing is, if you look here, we got the 7 rings that we've taken out right there, and I'm just kind of emphasizing them so that we can address them. And what I would do with those as I shape the cobblestone is I would generally make those the larger ones. So I would, you know, bend, you know, let's say, for example, I'm trying to turn it toward me for a second here, like this guy right here. I would bend the pieces, the ones away like this, kind of making it, just kind of, it causes it to enlarge. I'm not sure if this is actually coming visible. I'll hold it up in a second and maybe kind of emphasize it again. We'll see. And I just try to make that one a big one as I bend the brackets away. And really, you can just go to town on these brackets. I mean, these ones are actually very strong, so I can kind of be bold with them. Let's say right over here, I wanted to make, let's see, I'm trying to find one. There we go. Let's say I wanted to make a nice thin one right there. So I would take this one and squeeze those two together, kind of like do that right there, and just make this one kind of thin and kind of pull the pieces in. And one of the things I want to say is that every wall between every two eraser brackets, I kind of squeeze them together, and that is every wall in the piece. So I go through and I just make sure that there's no empty space in between each bracket. Let's see, I don't even know if I'm capturing it, but I just kind of keep adjusting it till I like the look. And just like when I pull up like the Google images or an example image of cobblestone, you know, every one is not round, definitely. It's not perfectly round. And some of them I really make very, you know, I can flatten them and do whatever I want, really, with them. I can make one piece very large, one piece not. And the one thing is, every one of the 7 where I have kind of cut away the pencil and snipped it away, I definitely use those to be my large rings. And that way it just creates some variation in the piece. And there we go. I'm just kind of bending those away. Hopefully I'm in... Sorry if my hand is covering. Let's see, there we go. And, you know, I just create some larges and smalls. And I also, you know, keep adjusting. And I'm going to go into berserker mode. I just kind of wanted to touch on this a little bit before I did that. I just make sure that everyone doesn't look perfectly round. The edge pieces I really kind of go to town on, and you know, make sure that they don't look too circular, perfectly circular. You know, I just kind of, you know, bend them up. Like, for example, this guy, I just flattened that whole edge out right there. And I just keep doing that. And so I just kind of get a nice cobblestone look. I'm going to go into berserk mode just because I've talked enough. And it is time to just kind of, you know, maybe use some images I pull up on Google or whatever, wherever you find some cobblestone examples. And then just, you know, make this face look, you know, as nice as you can, like something like a believable cobblestone that can, you know, tile across the sheet. So let's do that right now. Okay, so we finished the cobblestone hot press, and everything worked out great. And this is a sheet of black foam core that we're going to be testing it on right now. And before I jump right in, I just want to just do a quick word of caution. I know I put the disclaimer at the beginning of the video, but you know, this one is made out of mostly wood. We're basically just utilizing, you know, these metal rings here to make our press, but it's mostly wood, and so it's no mistake that I've got this, you know, pot of water here, and then let's see now if I don't know if the angle's right, but up in the upper corner by the red hot burner there, that's a fire extinguisher. And just, you know, I just want people to be safe as I get this idea across for the hot press. So that being said, I'm going to be putting this, actually, let me get this stuff on. Go, yeah. And we'll be putting this on the press. And I do not leave this one on the press for extreme amounts of time. At the initial, by the way, there's going to be a little eraser burn probably for the first couple moments. It happens. For the initial, I basically go about 15 seconds or so, and maybe 20, and I just get this thing heated up. And I'm actually going to test this. So right now, I'll do a little test on here, and it is totally not heated up. And that's okay. It's okay that I like jumped the gun, because I want to be safe with the you know, the wood presses, you know, and not you know, just overcook that stuff and cause, you know, any difficulty. So I'm just kind of like still letting it heat up a little bit more, and I'm just going to keep testing it on this until I'm satisfied. Whoops. Okay, now I definitely know it's ready. That is smoke, and I left it on too long. And yes, so that is a ready press. It's about ready to go. It's looking really cool, actually. And so I'm going to set that test out of the way. And at this point, we are ready to start pressing these out. And this thing just needs to sit for just about, you know, I would say about 4 to 5 seconds at a time, just to collect that heat. So yeah. Ooh, yeah, that is nice. Ooh, I almost like left that on the burner like the last hot press test. I'm gonna bring that up to the camera. That's a real nice looking cobblestone right there. Hopefully that is in focus. Let me bring it a little closer. Yeah, that's looking really nice. I'm really happy with this. And so I'm going to put it back on. And I've not used this specific set of pencils before, so I'm really watching it as I do it. I'm going to run a few rows here. And then, yep, this is looking good. I'm really liking this. Okay, here we go. And these ones, by the way, they're easier to line up in a general sense than, for example, the stone block hot press. And yeah, that's really good. I'm really happy with that. That's a good stone block, or I mean not stone block, but cobblestone. Oop. Yeah, these ones I really have to watch. I'm glad I'm filming, so it's harder to focus on what I'm doing. I'm gonna run vertical, just to kind of test that out. Ooh. Yep, that one was not warm enough. So I should have put it back on the press before I popped that one out. Oh God, I keep forgetting I'm working with wood. I'm so used to my stone block hot press. You have to really watch this one. You don't want to cause any trouble with the igniting. And I get a lot more punches, by the way, with this one as I go along. So I've been kind of floundering, but really I should be just leaving this on for about 4 or 5 seconds at a time. I'm going too long, but I'm glad I'm making the mistake in front of the camera, because it adds extra information for people who are trying to, you know, figure out what's going on with these cobblestone hot presses. And so I think, if I remember right, I tried to count it once, and it was about 4 or 5 seconds. And you do get a lot more fumes and strangeness off of this press. So that, I think that's a good enough example of what's going on with this. And so I'm gonna just probably just punch into Berserker mode and press out this whole sheet. But I'm really happy with the results of this so far. So let's knock out this sheet.
So that concludes the cobblestone hot press build, and I hope you find this approach useful in your creative endeavors. And if you liked the video, please hit the like button or subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.